everybody know my son King. He's a passionate young man.
He's very passionate.
Yeah, and he has some tumultuous times. But the Lord ain't through with him yet.
That's right.
The thing the world say about me is a lie. I don't give a damn. I don't really care too much. It didn't affect me. That just made your source. That just made your information that you talk about.
Much criticism as I receive about my son, I would like to shed light on the fact we all got bad kids. Okay, now listen.
The storm around the Harris family did not come out of thin air. It started with a shocking 32-second clip that blindsided everyone. The video allegedly showed King Harris, the son of Ty and Tiny, in a private and compromising moment with another man.
Dad kicked me out. Then my dad, I don't know, whatever they said was happening. Whatever they said supposedly happened. You know what I'm saying? Still believe in it. Everything the world say about me is a lie. I don't give a damn. I don't really care too much. It didn't affect me. That just made your source. That just made your information that you talk about not credible.
This was not one of those random leaks that flash across the internet and vanish. Word is, the tape was sent straight to T.I. and Tiny through a private group message, almost like someone wanted to hit them first and hardest. That detail alone had people whispering, because if it was not from a hacker, then someone close to the family must have been behind it. The footage disappeared from major platforms within hours, but once something like that surfaces, it never truly dies. Copies were saved, traded in group chats, and circulated in private spaces where it could not be traced. That is when the whispers turned into chaos, with talk that this single video could blow apart everything the Harris family had built.
I woke up with a roach on your face.
Here. No, that's not the goal.
All right, then. So there it goes.
Or in your ear.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I got some in the neighborhood with me that broke up with roach in your ear. Y'all want to go to the bando in my neighborhood?
Instead of rallying behind his son in public, T.I. allegedly moved straight into cover-up mode. According to insiders, the first calls he made were to his lawyers, investigators, and PR team, within hours of the clip hitting his phone. That speed told people all they needed to know. T.I. was not searching for truth. He was seizing control. Behind closed doors, Tiny was said to be crushed, begging King to stay strong and be honest about his reality. But T.I., sources claim, was playing a whole other game. Feelings were not his concern. Protecting the brand was. For him, this was not just about King. It was about money, TV shows, podcast deals, endorsements, and the image he had carefully polished for years. And that is where things got even darker.
The baby mother doesn't care. I'm not a bad baby daddy, so I got more leeway than other baby daddies. You know what I'm saying? I got more like this ain't your normal baby daddy.
Whispers in Atlanta claim the other man in the clip was arrested days later, slapped with charges that lined up a little too perfectly. Blackmail, revenge porn, and privacy violations. Many believed this was no coincidence. Some even saw it as T.I. firing a warning shot. Do not think about leaking anything else. But the real twist, sources said that video was not the only one. The leak was just the first. Rumors swirled that more footage existed, and the man tied to King threatened to release it all, unless he was paid. T.I., insiders claim, was not about to negotiate. He was not cutting checks. Instead, he went into attack mode, activating his circle, tracing every lead, and trying to crush the threat before it grew. The craziest part? King was left in the dark. By the time he understood what was happening, his father had already turned the situation into a legal war. And while T.I. focused on image control, Tiny was falling apart, stunned that her husband moved so fast to guard the brand, but never stopped to ask how their son was coping.
I'm talking like let's say I DM a girl, or I get a girl number, or, you know what I'm saying, a girl at the studio. Just know my baby mama don't care. So you cannot do don't try to pull King with, no. My baby.
That clash in parenting styles pulled back the curtain on something fans had whispered about for years. Ty and Tiny never truly agreed on how to raise their kids. Ty stood firm on discipline and tough love, while Tiny leaned into comfort and emotional support. Once the tape leaked, That difference turned into an outright rift inside their home. Insiders claimed the arguments got heated, with Tiny demanding they make a public statement while Ty refused to budge. She even pushed for King to hop on Instagram and clear his own name, but T allegedly shut it down, warning it would only pour fuel on the fire. That moment also cracked open a side of King's childhood most people never knew. While the world tuned into Family Hustle, thinking they were watching a picture-perfect family life filled with dinners and bonding, the truth was far from it. King later admitted he spent the bulk of his childhood being raised by his grandmother, instead of living in that polished Atlanta mansion. In fact, he flat out said in one clip that he stayed with his Nana full-time, only being brought around when T and Tiny needed him for the cameras. That confession shattered the glossy image fans thought they knew.
Much criticism as I receive about my son, I would like to shed light on the fact. We all got bad kids, okay? Now listen, don't make it seem like I'm the only one on here who got bad kids. Try to take the good with the bad and just let them know. You go into prison if you keep it up. I don't wish it on him, you know what I'm saying? I don't wish it on him. And I love him through it. Whatever he going through, I love him through it.
King's rebellious streak was not about being spoiled like people assumed. It started looking more like the fallout of being overlooked. His so-called wildness wasn't fueled by excess. It was rooted in absence. And he wasn't the only one with that story. Zonique, Tiny's daughter, also admitted she spent most of her childhood living with her grandmother, while Ty and Tiny poured their energy into careers and building their empire. That revelation made the glossy reality show moments feel staged, like the perfect family was more for TV than real life. Fans began realizing why King never seemed fully connected to the Harris brand. He was in the spotlight, but never really part of the family unit. So when things exploded, he didn't hold back. The breaking point came on a live stream that went viral when T tried to paint himself as the proud father who raised King in luxury. King shut it down fast. In front of thousands, he called the whole narrative fake, saying it was his grandmother who stepped up when things got tough, not his famous parents. That clapback had the internet buzzing and revealed a very different family picture. King accused his parents of caring more about their reputation than about him. Sources claimed the clash even turned physical at one point, spilling offline and making the private drama very public. By now, the Harris image wasn't just cracked. It was collapsing in real time. Then came the wildest twist, Big Nana. King started dating her in late 2023, and social media had a field day. She was older, outspoken, already known in certain circles, and their relationship instantly drew controversy. Ty reportedly hated her from the start, convinced she was chasing clout. But a few months later, Big Nana announced she was pregnant. Overnight, King was about to be a father. The internet lit up with reactions, both supportive and critical, while behind closed doors, things turned chaotic. The real shocker came when the leaked tape surfaced. Sources claimed Big Nana had a copy the same day Ty did, but instead of rushing to lawyers, she held onto it. Some insiders whispered that she used it as leverage, threatening to drop it if Ty kept dragging her name. Others believed she kept it as insurance, a safety net now that a baby tied her to the family. Either way, one fact stood out. She had control. She had the child, she had the tape, and she had the power to push back against Ty in a way nobody else ever had. For once, Tay was powerless, but the story didn't stop there. King himself admitted he cheated on Big Nana. Strangely, she didn't flip out. No drama, no public meltdown. She brushed it off like it was nothing. That calm reaction made people suspicious. King never revealed who he cheated with, and rumors spread that it wasn't another woman at all. Speculation grew that King had been secretly involved with a man, which gave new weight to the leaked tape rumors. If true, the whole cheating situation looked less like betrayal and more like an arrangement. She got the fame, the spotlight, and the platform. He got to quietly live his truth without being judged. To the internet, it was scandal. To King, it was survival. And just when it seemed the drama centered only on King, another Harris resurfaced. Messiah, Ty's firstborn, had always been seen as the calm, respectful son who avoided chaos while King stole the attention. Then, out of nowhere, Messiah vanished from the public eye. No explanation, no farewell, just silence. Fans didn't think much until blurry photos surfaced online, showing Messiah hugged up with another man. Suddenly, his quiet disappearance started looking less like a personal decision and more like another hidden chapter in the Harris family saga. The whispers grew louder. People close to the family claimed T was not just uneasy about the speculation, he was enraged. Not because of Messiah himself, but because of what the headlines could do to his carefully polished image. Allegedly, T began phasing Messiah out of the spotlight, cutting his appearances, and making sure he faded quietly from the family brand. No public statement, no dramatic confrontation, just silence. Messiah never clapped back, never posted cryptic rants, never dragged his family online. He disappeared without a word, and that silence only fueled more curiosity. Fans began digging, wondering if history was repeating itself with King. Here is where the bigger picture comes in. This is not only a Harris family issue, it ties into a much larger conversation about Atlanta's hip-hop scene. One of the city's worst-kept secrets has always been the down-low culture, where public image and private life rarely match. In rap, masculinity is currency. Any hint of vulnerability or same-sex rumors can be career-ending. That is why so many in the industry live double lives, projecting toughness for the cameras while living something entirely different behind closed doors. Entire networks exist in secrecy, filled with private parties, NDA agreements, and unspoken rules. Insiders know the truth even if names are never said aloud. That is what made King's alleged tape so explosive. It was not just gossip, it broke the unspoken code. If word spread that the son of a rapper like T, a man who built his career on an image of toughness, might be connected to that scene, it would not only shake King's life, it would destabilize the entire Harris brand. That is why T reportedly snapped into crisis mode, determined to bury the footage at all costs. But by moving so aggressively, fans say he only made things worse. His frantic attempt to control the narrative drew more attention instead of silencing it. The whispers turned into shouts, and online comments came pouring in. One viral post summed it up perfectly. He cares more about his brand than his kids. When they need him, he protects his name instead. That sentiment struck a chord. Ty was being painted as more CEO than father, more businessman than dad. For many watching, it felt like the cracks in his empire were finally showing. But the storm was not finished. Word spread that the leaked clip was only a warning shot. Sources claimed King's alleged partner had more tapes and was threatening to drop them unless money was paid. If true, that would explain T's aggressive moves, bringing in lawyers and investigators immediately. Because another tape, especially one where King was allegedly speaking about private Harris family drama, could dismantle everything they had spent years protecting. The whispers got darker still. Some insiders insisted this was not an outside attack, but an inside job. Someone within the Harris circle might have helped make it happen, feeding the leak from the inside. That is why people said T was spiraling into paranoia, cutting off longtime friends, demanding phones be checked, and shutting down group chats. At that point, the empire he built was not just being attacked from outside, it was being torn apart from within. By the time the dust started to settle, the Harris household was not dealing with gossip anymore. It was a war zone. Trust inside the family was breaking down, and the family hustle image looked faker than ever. People close to Tiny claimed she had reached her breaking point. She felt like she was always left cleaning up after T's mistakes, protecting his ego, while watching her son take all the heat. According to one insider, Tiny even told a friend, "It is always King in the line of fire, and I am done watching it happen." That confession showed how fractured things had become inside the mansion. The brand that once sold unity was now split, with everyone quietly choosing sides. Even the other Harris kids reportedly started pulling back, not because they did not care about King, but because they were exhausted by the constant drama. They were tired of propping up the illusion of a perfect family when reality was the opposite. Imagine waking up every day to see your personal life turned into headlines, your family fights broadcast on live streams, and your father's reputation placed above your well-being. That, sources claimed, was life inside the Harris household. And while T stayed busy playing defense with the media, his own home was collapsing behind him. Meanwhile, the internet kept buzzing about what might still be hiding in the shadows. Rumors of another tape picked up momentum. This one allegedly showed King going all the way in, not just exposed, but openly talking about private Harris family secrets. If that clip ever surfaced, it would go beyond embarrassment. It could destroy the Harris empire overnight. Fans speculated King might spill details about his parents, the brand, even situations never meant to leave the family circle. For T, the most terrifying possibility was that this leak had not come from the outside at all. Multiple sources whispered that someone inside the circle could have pulled the strings. An inside job. That theory shook the entire foundation. Suddenly, T did not trust anyone, not even people who had been in his life for decades. Word spread that he locked down group chats, cut off old friends, and demanded to see phones. The paranoia grew so heavy that even the family's private chat went silent, with everyone too afraid that a single message could end up on a blog by morning. That is how deep the mistrust had gotten. While T was chasing shadows, Tiny had reached her limit. She was exhausted from watching King take hit after hit, from living in constant crisis mode, from trying to protect her husband's image while their son was the one bleeding in public. For her, it was no longer about deals, money, or appearances. It was about her child. And that is why this scandal did not just rock the blogs. It cracked the foundation of her marriage. What once looked like a strong power couple now looked like two people pulling in opposite directions. Fans on the outside were also losing patience. Social media lit up with comments dragging T for his choices. One viral post hit the hardest. He cares more about the brand than his kids. If it was really about family, he would protect them, not silence them. That line spread everywhere, striking T in the place he guarded most, the image he had spent decades building. For years, he sold himself as the wise father, the strong leader, the example for his children. But now his kids themselves were tearing holes in that narrative live on the internet, and no publicist in the world could patch it fast enough. The deeper fans dug, the more the polished family picture unraveled. From King's explosive livestream arguments with his father, to Zonique's confession that she was raised by her grandmother, to Messiah's quiet disappearance, the pattern became undeniable. Behind the cameras, the Harris family was not thriving. They were hiding secrets, nursing wounds, and covering cracks that reality TV could never show. And now, those cracks were splitting wide open for the world to see. Even the most loyal supporters began questioning everything. Was family hustle ever real? Or was it just a script for the cameras? Was T truly the protective father he portrayed? Or simply a man obsessed with control? And the most dangerous question of all, what happens if King decides to stop holding back and reveal the full truth? Because right now, King does not look like the victim of one scandal. He looks like the storm powerful enough to bring the whole empire down. The Harris name, once a symbol of unity and influence, now hangs by a thread. One more leak, one more viral meltdown, one more crack in the image could be the final blow. And if that moment comes, the brand will not just take damage, it will collapse. That is the razor's edge Ty is standing on right now. This is not just about a single tape. It is about years of buried truths finally clawing their way into the light, and a family that may never piece itself back together. So here is the real question. Can Ty and Tiny hold their empire together, or has King already become the force that will tear it apart? The world is watching. The streets are talking. And the next move could change everything. Subscribe, like, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Because this is not just drama, this is history in the making. And the receipts are only getting louder.